Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. Today I've got a first impressions video on a WE knife, and I've got a couple of other WE knives to share with you that are just sitting over here at the side by way of just a preview of some knives that are to come. They were all sent from Zell over at Zelric42 channel. If you're not checking out that channel, he tends to do a pretty good job, so go ahead and check that out. Zell is the North American rep for WE knives, so he's usually got some cool stuff to share with us. Anyway, want to get to the knife in question first off. It does come with the typical WE knife packaging, and there's the knife there. This is the WE Model 711. Now, I know some of you may have an uncontrollable urge to run to your nearest variety store and get a slushie and a pack of bubble gum, and so if you need to pause the video to do that, go ahead. And I guess there will be some of you who are too young to even get that reference, but 7-Eleven was a really popular variety store chain when I was younger, and I don't think there's too many of them around anymore. Anyway, this is not a variety store. As you can see, it is a folding knife, and it's a pretty darn good one. I want to give you a quick rundown of the specs, and then give you a quick rundown of the features, then give you the specs, size and weight, and my overall impression. And then I will pull in the other WE knives that Zell sent so you can see some of the videos that are going to be coming up in the next month or so. All right, so features of this knife: we have a VG10 hollow ground blade. I guess it's a drop point. It kind of looks like a clip point because of the way the swedge is done there. Not a bad blade. I definitely like hollow grinds. I'm not a huge fan of VG10 steel, but I think it's more than adequate for an EDC knife. It is a liner lock, and you can see those nested liners, which is a really nice touch. Fairly thick liners as well, which is something I've often talked about on this channel. I do like to see a thicker liner if you're going to go with a liner lock. Single position pocket clip here, which is titanium, as well as a titanium backspacer, so those kind of class up the knife a little bit. Nice lanyard attachment point over here. Decorative pivot on this side, that's the show side, and on the lock side you have something very new from WE knives, and that is a Torx driver right there, as well as Torx hardware down here. Got to give them some credit for that. So those are the features. Let's go ahead and get a size and weight, beginning with the overall length, which is going to be about 7 7/8. In fact, maybe a teeny bit more than that, almost 7 15/16. Blade length on this guy is going to be pretty well 3 and, let's see, I want to make sure I'm getting this right, pretty well 3 3/8, so not quite 3.5 inches long on that VG10 blade. And handle length is about 4.5, just a fraction of an inch, not even a 1/16 of an inch. Yeah, maybe a 1/16. Maybe a 1/16 of an inch over 4.5 inches, so 4 9/16. Okay, so that's the size. Let's go ahead and grab a weight. I'm just saying, you know, it feels fairly lightweight in hand. I could be sort of misinterpreting, but I think it's going to be fairly comfortable. What do we got here? So 4.09 ounces. That is actually pretty darn good. So I've got to say, good job to WE on that note. Now, my overall impression on this knife. Oh, it is a bearing flipper. I guess I should have mentioned that when we were going over the features. And I've got to say, the action is spectacular on this. They have really got this knife dialed in. The detent is just perfect. Flipper tab is a little sharp maybe, but the detent is soft enough. Like, it's not a super stiff detent. Man, it's nice. The action is fantastic on this knife. So I guess if you want a first impression, the action is spectacular. My initial thought on this knife is this is going to be a really, really nice EDC knife. It's got a lot of great features. It's going to carry very comfortably because it's pretty lightweight. The steel is more than adequate. I'm not a huge fan of VG10, but it's definitely going to do the job for you. The action and the lockup is super comfortable and actually very impressive. Without thinking about it, this knife just flips really, really nicely. So I've got to say, we deserve some good credit there. I think, you know, I've complained about the action on WE knives before. This one is top notch for sure. Yeah, so that's my impression. It's a great EDC knife. I think it's a little more budget friendly. I want to say they're about $100, which is a little steep for what you're getting, a liner lock with VG10 steel. but not completely out of the way considering some titanium has been incorporated here, and the action is superb. It really is. So let me move this knife out of the way, and so that's my overall impression. Yeah, great EDC, maybe a little overpriced, but otherwise really, really well done. Let me grab a couple of other knives and just give you, my share with you what's coming up. I do have a WE 618 here. This one did not come from Zell. In fact, I've had this one for about a month now, and so a review will be coming up fairly soon on it, and I've been really enjoying this little knife. It's not exactly in my wheelhouse, but boy, is it nice. So I'll have a review coming up on this one probably in the next week or so. The others here will be a little longer. These were from Zell. First one is the WE 702, which as you can see is an integral. Really, really nicely done. Hand rubbed satin on the blade. I'll have obviously a few things to say about this, but overall, pretty nice. What else have we got here? The 705, this is a really sort of aggressive looking Wharncliffe blade. Very, very obtuse angle on this guy, so we'll have to see how it performs in terms of cutting. The action is pretty good, although I'm not loving the position of the flipper tab there. Should feel like it should be up a little bit higher to give me a little more leverage. Still flips fine, but could have been maybe just a little bit better. And then last but not least, you guys have been asking for some smaller knives. So when Zell said, hey, I've got some WE knives to send for review, what are you interested in? I said, how about a 605? Kind of a cool little design, much too small for me. This is not anything I would ever buy or carry, but some of you will probably enjoy it. And I do really like the ergonomics on it, no question. So there you go, guys. Those will all be coming up in the not too distant future. Let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are on some of these newer WE knives, especially. I know I've got some older ones here as well that have been out for a while, but they're new to me. I haven't had a chance to look at them. So look for my reviews coming up on those. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of them. And don't forget to hit that notification button as well, since YouTube feels that you need to hit 2 buttons instead of 1 to follow channels that you're interested in. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.